I know what you're gonna say. That's Dory, right? No, it's not. That's the powdered blue tang. What's up, dudes from class? I'm here to talk about the powdered blue tang. This little thing right here. Alright, try to keep up because I'm going to be going through this stuff pretty fast. The reason they're called the powdered blue tang is because of their super vibrant colors. They have a very bright yellow on their upper dorsal fin, and then they have sort of like white color-ish fin on their caudal and pectoral fins, which are basically their hinds. And then their whole like center mass or body is this very cool powdered blue color. They're called the same thing in all of their differences, whether they're a female, a male, a baby, or like a group of them, they're all still called powdered blue tang. And the scientific name for this fish is the Acantharus leucosternon. That's a real mouthful. These little guys have a common length of 7.5 inches and a max length of 21 inches. They have an oval-shaped like body. 1.3 pounds is their average weight. Their brightly colored scales are what give them their color. They have no legs, but I mean, I was asked if they have legs, but I mean, does any fish have a set of legs? They have 2 eyes, 1 dorsal fin, 1 pectoral fin, 1 caudal fin, 1 pelvic fin, and 1 anal fin, I guess. They don't molt because I don't know if any fish molts. They're very dark colored face, their white fins on their hind, and then the bright yellow fin on top of them. In terms of locomotion, they swim with their fins, just like basically every other fish. They're relatively slow, and they would rather choose to hide rather than run from an enemy, which is actually pretty good when they live in those coral-like habitats, because there's a bunch of small little caves in between the coral, and it makes it very easy for them to hide in the center. In terms of their diet, they are herbivores. They eat algae, seaweed, seagrass, and basically any plant they can find. They're very territorial, and they eat within that territory. They're a primary consumer, as they eat primary producers, which are the plants that I mentioned. In terms of their habitat, they live in coral reefs, which is close to the shore. They're almost always located between the Indian and Pacific Oceans, specifically the western part of the Pacific Ocean. They all live 25 meters deep, which is not very deep at all, and they like relatively warm temperatures within the water. They don't migrate either, because they almost always choose to stay in the same area. Their adaptations. Their bright blue color helps with camouflage in the water, and sometimes helps them blend in with coral, which is really good because their bright yellow and their bright blues are already colors that coral come in exclusively. In terms of life cycle, they live for about 5 to 10 years. 10 years is a maximum because they usually stay alive for 10 years within aquariums. And in terms of spawning and reproduction, they use something called broadcast spawning, which after looking it up, I realized is weird to say the least. The females release their eggs all over the coral areas, like the coral, all over the coral reef. And then the males come around and do whatever they have to do to the eggs to make the children. In terms of behavior, these animals school together, which honestly adds to their protection because if there's a bunch of them in a single area, a fish of a bigger size that chooses to hunt them can't really get to all of them. They can get to maybe 1 or 2, and then the rest of them just flee. Powdered blue tang are aggressive to others of their kind if they're provoked, which is shown through some aquariums where honestly, these fish can be pretty violent towards other fish. They're all active during the day, there's no nocturnal activity from these fish, and again, they sleep inside of caves in the coral reefs, so I wouldn't really expect them to have any nocturnal activity because of those areas where they sleep. In terms of defense and offensive capabilities, their caudal fin has spines that allow the fish to be harder to swallow and injure predators. These also serve as offensive needed, although these fish are typically not offensive towards any other fish unless provoked, like I said. Their enemies are many bigger fish, being small barjacks and black durgeons specifically. Survival status. Honestly, these fish are in healthy populations, so there's no real threat of extinction at any time soon. They're not common in any specific area. They're very broad across the areas I stated before, being the Indian and Western Pacific. They kind of don't migrate or move or spawn in a single area. They're kind of broad. And some special facts about this fish. They can adjust hues of blues and purples, which basically adds to their camouflage. So they're kind of like chameleons, but at the same time not, except they can really only use blue and purple colors. They can go anywhere from that powder blue, like that first picture showed, all the way to a very deep purple, which is honestly pretty cool. Another special fact, they are not dory, because that is this fish, which is the blue tang, not the powdered blue tang. Lastly, their classification. They're closely related to blue tang or other tang species because of the name and because they all have similar body structures. Alright, now for their very specific sections within the animal kingdom. Alright, first up, their kingdom is Animalia. Their phylum is the Chordata. Their class is the Actinopterygii. Their order is the Acantheriformes. Their family is the Acantheridae. Their genus is the Acanthurus, and their species is the obvious Acanthurus lacosternon. Special thanks to my sources, being National Geographic, aquariumofpacific.org, georgiaaquarium.org, worldwidecorals.com, and oceana.org. Thanks for watching, guys, and hope you learned something.